Next, we are going to sync the front and back patterns over to the 3D avatar window. I'm going to drag the divider bar over again so that we can see both the 2D and 3D windows. Then click on the Sync button in the 3D avatar window's toolbar. As you can see, the pattern pieces now appear in the 3D avatar window in reference to the silhouette in the 2D pattern window. The sync between the 2D and 3D pattern pieces are of course indicated by the sync icon itself, but you can also tell by the color of the pattern pieces in the 2D pattern window. Pattern pieces that have never been synced appear transparent until they are synced over to the 3D avatar window, at which point they turn blue. This indicates that the 2D and 3D windows are synced, and therefore any changes made to the patterns in the 2D pattern window will be instantly reflected in the 3D avatar window. When the Sync button is turned off, the pattern pieces will again change color, but this time they will become red as there are pieces that have already been synced over to the 3D avatar window. The red color merely indicates that the sync function is off. Now, when I make changes to these patterns, the areas that have been modified stay transparent until I turn the sync function back on. Now, let's place the pattern pieces on the 3D avatar using the Gizmo tool. When you click on a pattern piece in the 3D avatar window, the Gizmo tool appears in the center of the selected pattern. It is made up of 3 circles, 3 axes, and a yellow box. If you click and drag the yellow box, you can move the pattern around freely in the 3D space. You can of course do the same thing by clicking anywhere on the pattern, but this can become difficult for smaller pattern pieces, so the yellow box can be useful in those situations. You can also move the pattern along the X, Y, or Z axes by hovering your mouse over any of the 3 axes of the Gizmo tool until the mouse cursor switches to a double-ended arrow. When it does, just click and drag along the axis. The red and green axes control the pattern pieces along the X and Y axes respectively, so their movements are very similar to what you get by using the yellow box. The most useful of the 3 is the blue axis, which allows you to very easily move the pattern back and forth along the Z axis. The 3 circles of the Gizmo tool are used to rotate the pattern along the different axes. Hover the mouse over one of the circles and the cursor will switch to a rotating icon. When it does, click and drag along the circle in the direction you want to rotate in. Let's try using the Gizmo tool to place our pattern pieces. As we do so, keep in mind that each pattern piece has a face and a backside, just like a real garment. Therefore, while we can easily place the front pattern piece, because the patterns are synced over from the 2D pattern window along a single plane, we need to flip the back pattern piece so that the face of the fabric is on the outside. We can do this by using the Gizmo tool, but a faster and easier way to do it is to right-click on the back pattern and select the Flip Horizontally tab from the pop-up menu. Since we haven't assigned a fabric texture to the pattern pieces yet, the pattern pieces are white by default, but the face of the pattern is lighter than the back side, and you can see this change as soon as we flip the pattern. We can now use the Gizmo tool to move and place the back pattern on the avatar. And again, as we rotate, you can see the difference in the shades of the face and back sides of the pattern pieces. We can use the Gizmo tool to place pattern pieces, but as you start working with more complex patterns, or garments that have a lot of different pattern pieces, it can become a little time-consuming to get the patterns in their ideal positions. So we're going to reset the pattern pieces to their default arrangement, and this time use the arrangement point to place them on the avatar. Click on the Show Arrangement Points icon in the 3D Avatar toolbar. The avatar is now covered with a lot of different red dots. These arrangement points reference different bounding volumes of the avatar's body and are used to place and curve pattern pieces around these 3-dimensional boundaries. To use them, first select a pattern in the 3D avatar window, and as you do so, you'll see that the edge of the pattern turns yellow. Then, click on one of the arrangement points. Sometimes the Gizmo tool will get in the way and make it difficult to click on the arrangement point that you want. In this case, just move the pattern piece away from the avatar and then click on the arrangement point. Keep in mind that when you're using the arrangement points, the center of the pattern is aligned to the point. If you happen to select the wrong arrangement point, don't panic. Just click on the correct arrangement point with the pattern still selected. As you can see, the arrangement points provide a fast and easy way to place pattern pieces on the avatar. It also eliminates the need to manually flip back pattern pieces because the arrangement points always reference the center of the face side of the patterns and therefore will automatically place the back patterns with the correct side facing out. Plus, you can always use the Gizmo tool after using the arrangement points to adjust the placement of each pattern piece.